Boise State, Air Force, last week of the season, they play each other. Wow, no way. You look at San Diego State over here, Fresno State. Wow, last week of the season, they play each other. No way. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on everything, college football, pro football, Madden, EA college football, the NFL draft, anything like that, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Quest for 1K. We're almost there. Okay, 835. We're on our way up. Please subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, if you follow me, you know big-time Boise. Where's it? Boise State right there. Boise State right there. You know I'm a big-time Boise State fan. I also like the Mountain West in general. You know, cover all of college football, but for the most part, love my boys out west. Want to talk a lot about things like that. So with that, I wanted to make sure that we could talk about what just came out yesterday. That is going to be very important because, again, most important thing to do, you got to look at the schedule. Colin Cowherd, he's very, very famous. What does he say? Look at the schedule. Schedule just came out. Let's check it out right now. We're going to check out a couple things here. Check out the schedule overall, how this relates to our boys, Boise State. Also other teams too. I'm going to make sure I do other teams as well. Okay, San Jose State and San Diego State. You guys both look out here. And then also we're going to talk about kind of the favorites for winning the league. Let's get into that video right now. So here we are, a tweet from the Mountain West. So we have the 2023 Mountain West football schedule. So like I said, first thing we're going to do is talk about the schedule overall, then Boise State, and then a couple of teams I want you to look out for. And then we're going to go into my prediction for who's going to win the league. So the first thing to check out here is how many P5 games are on the board, especially how many P5 teams are visiting Mountain West teams. So we come over here and we check this out. First of all, Sam Houston State, again, they are on their way to be D1 up here, FBS. First one over here is UCF. Remember, this next season, UCF is a Big 12 team. That's a P5 team. UCF visits Boise State. Washington State visits Colorado State. We come over here, we see Stanford visits Hawaii. Okay, all right, on a Friday there. And then we have Kansas visiting Nevada. We've got UCLA visiting San Diego State. Again, they had Arizona visit them last season. Oregon State visits San Jose State. Oregon State visited Fresno State last year. And then we also have Texas Tech going all the way up there to Wyoming early in the season. Very interesting to see all those things. Also, if you check this out, and remember here, for anybody who doesn't know, Hawaii, if you play at Hawaii, you're allowed to have an extra home game. Hawaii also just gets an extra home game in general. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games to play. So they got a lot of games for them. So that's pretty wild. But we can see all the rest of these things here. So we see, you know, Wyoming visits Texas. Utah State visits Iowa. We've got UNLV visiting Michigan. Also hosting Vanderbilt. Okay, we have San Jose State going and playing at USC. In addition to also we have San Jose State visiting Oregon State. Oregon State's been playing a lot of Mountain West teams recently. New Mexico visits Texas A&M. Nevada visits USC. You know, Hawaii visits Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt very early last season. Remember, that's 0 week. Very early last season. Hawaii had Vanderbilt visit them. Now they visit Vanderbilt. Fresno State visits Purdue and Arizona State. And then we see Colorado visits Colorado State, or Colorado State visits Colorado. And then we have Boise State visiting UW. UW is going to be a very highly rated team. So really interesting to see all of those games between the P5 and the Mountain West. A lot of big games there. The next most important thing, and again, not related to Boise State, but kind of, is check this out. So last season, there were 2 extremely pivotal games in deciding the Mount West Mountain and the Mount West West champions. Both of those games were San Diego State versus Fresno State and Boise State versus Air Force. If you look and see what they did, Boise State, Air Force, last week of the season, they play each other. Wow, no way. You look at San Diego State over here, Fresno State. Wow, last week of the season, they play each other. No way. The Mountain West knows what it's doing. It wants to schedule those 2 teams last. And if you look at last season's games, they know why. So Boise State last season visited Air Force. And again, everybody who is a Boise State fan knows visiting Air Force is a house of horrors for us. We do not like playing there. The Air Force is not as, per se, a talented team. Obviously, they have difficulties recruiting with all of the, you know, educational or, you know, the service requirements and things like that you have to go around. So it seems like a team that you should be able to beat, but for whatever reason, they just have such an issue playing that triple option attack. Now, visiting Air Force all the way up there, super high up, They go up there and they have a huge game against them. Oh, a couple early turnovers by Air Force. Boise State also had issues in the red zone, kind of kept them around the game. Air Force had the ball right at the end of the game, 2:44 left in the game, the key play of the game. So it was 2nd and 7. They had a 3-yard run. It's 3rd and 4. So 3rd and 4, you know what Air Force does in 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4, they run the ball. They pick up 3 yards. It's 4th and 1. They pick up the first down, and they just chew the clock, and then they score, and they take the lead. So 3rd and 4, he gets Brad Roberts, that fullback, and that fullback who terrorizes teams. He gets 1 yard. So Air Force is like, oh crap, we can't just line up and run the ball down their throat. We have to throw the ball. They call a pass. They get a holding call, and then they have an incomplete pass. It was a crazy series of events. Boise State eventually ended the game and ran it down. But that big play right there, that 3rd and 4, was a huge, huge play. So again, these games don't come down to one play, but there are pivotal plays in these games. This is one for Boise State Air Force. Like I said, last game of the season, San Diego State and Fresno State had a really interesting 13 seconds, is what we're going to say. So you come over here and check this out. So San Diego State had a solid lead here, and you check this out. They have a solid lead. They have a 15-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and then check this out. With 1 minute and 9 seconds left, Jordan Mims 3-yard touchdown run or 3-yard run, and then Jake Hainer had a 2-point conversion. So again, they're down 3, and they're going to onside kick it. They onside kick it. They get it. Very next play, Nico Remigio, 37-yard touchdown from Jake Hainer. 2 touchdowns, 15 points, 13 seconds to steal it away from their rivals. It was ridiculous to see it live and absolutely shocking. Eventually, Fresno State came back and wins the Mountain West. This game right here was pivotal for them reaching the Mountain West championship game. So we see all those games. And again, right there, we talk about how it looks from the holistic perspective. You see the fact that the Mountain West kind of knows. We want to make sure we stage the teams that are really, really highly rated at the end of the season. Now remember, this next season, it even says over here on the right, one division, top 2 teams meet for the title. Basically, they know Boise State Air Force, kind of the Mountain West Mountain former champion. Again, they're not doing that anymore. And then San Diego State versus Fresno State, 2 very important games at the end of the season. Thanksgiving weekend is going to be big. Now, we talked about the league overall. I want to talk about my boys, Boise State. First of all, now no offense to Robert Morris and Sam Houston State and Navy and Army. Now, I know Navy and Army, those are the rivals. I get it. But look at Boise State's freaking schedule here, okay? I'll say there's another team that has an equally brutal schedule. We're going to get into that in a second here. But week 2, they visit Washington, who apparently is going to be a top 10 team. They have a Big 12 UCF visiting them the next week. They have a North Dakota team that visits them. And then on 6 days, they go and they play at San Diego State, a rival. And then the next week they have 8 days on there. Next week they play at Memphis, a very good AAC team. And they start into conference play here. You look at their road games over here. So they've got at UW, at San Diego State, at Memphis. They have at Fresno State. Utah State can be interesting every once in a while. Obviously last year, Utah State did not have the season that they wanted. But a very, very difficult road schedule. The home schedule for Boise State, UCF. And remember, big Power 5 team. North Dakota, San Jose State, not going to be an easy game. We're going to get into them in just a second here. Wyoming, hopefully they can avenge last year's extremely interesting game. Go watch that if you haven't seen Boise State, Wyoming last year. The game wasn't very interesting. The end was absolutely bananas. And then they have New Mexico at home and then Air Force at home as well. So it's going to be interesting there. The home schedule is not a super strong home schedule, but again, at the beginning and at the end, it is very strong. Now, what I want to talk about here, talked about Boise State. I want to talk about teams that I want you to look out for. First thing I want you to look out for is, surprisingly, going to be San Jose State. Now, the reason why is because of their quarterback, Chevan Cordero. So Chevan Cordero played at Hawaii for 2018, 19, 20, and 21. 2022, he played at San Jose State, had his best season he's ever had, 139 rating, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. He comes back. He's very interesting, because if you look at what he can do and who he has to play, they're going to need everything out of him because the schedule does not look very easy. So the San Jose State schedule, just listen to this, okay? At USC, home against Oregon State, a top 15 team last year. Cal Poly on the at home, at Toledo, and then Air Force at home, at Boise State, at New Mexico, at Utah State, at Hawaii, or Utah State at home, at Hawaii, Fresno State at home, San Diego State at home, and UNLV. So the very beginning, you look at the first couple games. So it's two Power 5 teams and a road team against a solid MAC squad. So there's first 4 games are if they leave that 2-2, they're thrilled. If they leave 3-1, they're absolutely bananas. And then you see the fact that they have to host Air Force, not an easy team to play. Then they have a bye week. So then they basically take a month off from having home games. They have a bye, away, and then they have a home game. And then they have to go visit Hawaii and then a bye week. Now they do get Fresno State and they do get San Diego State at home. I'm interested to see what happens between them there because, man, Chevan Cordero, they've got some power. We'll see what happens in conference play, but it's very interesting to see. They have a tough schedule, but I think they're a team you need to watch out for. And the other team here is the team that I really can't predict. I have no idea what to expect of them, and that is San Diego State. The reason why is because of their safety turned quarterback. I kid you not. So last year, San Diego State, and they were up 13-0 at half against Boise State. They gave it 35 straight in the second half. A bigger reason why that was because of Burmeister, with their quarterback. They just really couldn't develop anything. They didn't complete a single pass in the second half. Later on, they fired their offensive coordinator, switched a safety who was a Mississippi State commit, went there as a quarterback, transferred to San Diego State, played as safety, played a little bit of quarterback. They decided to put him fully at quarterback. You see the fact that he's got tackles, he's got assisted tackles, he's got rushing stats, he's got passing stats. 2018 and then 19 and 20 he was missing, and then 2021 and 2022 he plays for them, throws for 2,000 yards. Middle of the season, gets in the game, 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And again, not super great for a touchdown and interception ratio, but gives them something they haven't had in a while, at least competency at quarterback. Now, San Diego State. So again, they host Ohio, then they have Idaho State at home, then they have UCLA at home, and then they have at Oregon State. So again, they're going to have over here, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 home games. They have they have Fresno State at home. They have Boise State at home. They have UCLA at home. Most of their hard games are at home. I mean, at Air Force is always tough. San Diego State typically plays Air Force pretty tough, though. I mean, at Hawaii, they have this stretch right here where it softens up a little bit. So they have at Hawaii, they have Nevada at home, they have Utah State at home, they have at Colorado State, at San Jose State. I am telling you now, look out for that game. Chevan Cordero, I'm telling you, I just check that out. San Diego State, a strong team. I'm interested to see what Jalen Baden and they can do now that the Jake Haener and Fresno State. I think that Fresno State will fall off a little bit there. They had a really, really strong team. Nico Remigio. They had Jake Haener. They had a lot of good dudes. Jalen Moreno-Cropper. They were really, really dynamic on offense. Lose a lot of those guys, so I don't know what's going to happen with them. But I do know that I'm interested to see San Jose State, San Diego State, very interesting. Boise State looks solid. Air Force is always going to be good. They're always going to be consistent, I'll say that. But really interesting to see all of that go down. So checking out the odds to win the national championship for this next season. And again, I wasn't able to pull the Mountain West odds, but I was able to pull the national championship odds. San Jose State plus 50,000, so still unbelievably high chance they don't win it. Boise State plus 30,000. So right now, it looks like they have Boise State as the favorite, San Diego State as the second favorite in terms of winning the national championship. And again, not the Mountain West championship, but just want to make sure I put that out there right now. I am most excited about that last week. Remember, we got Thanksgiving weekend. Okay, we got San Diego State, Fresno State. Really interesting to see that. Also interesting to see, is this the last time they play as a member of the Mountain West Conference? We're not going to touch out with a 20-foot pole. We don't know what happened there, but that could potentially be a thing. Boise State and Air Force play that last week as well. We could potentially see those two teams play, and then the winner of that goes to the Mountain West Championship game. Really interesting to see that. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. What do you guys think about the Mountain West? I'm really excited for it. I love football, man. You see that. Look, what are you excited about? The amount of Power 5 teams that they play, what's going to happen with conference play, who's an upstart? I'm telling you right now, my upstart is San Jose State. I'm just telling you, just check out for them. Get in the comments right now. Tell me what you're most interested in. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.